Hi everybody, it's Jessica with Pilates Happy Hour. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is our Pilates for Beginners workout part 2. So I'm so excited that you're here. As I mentioned in part 1, I just love teaching Pilates for beginners. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. If you haven't done part 1, you can go ahead and find that in our YouTube channel. Go ahead and do that. I'll talk you through some of the basic principles, some of the basic movements. It'll give you a good workout. And then you can come back and join us for part 2 anytime. So we're going to get started on all fours today. So last time we did a lot on our back, some seated, and then some on our side. And we're just going to progress that and the core strength element a little bit more today, and then just have things flow a little bit more also. So I want hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and let's go ahead and exhale and round your spine. We're just going to do a little cat camel. And then inhale to extend, head up and tail up. Exhale to round. So this is a really nice way to warm up for any workout. It'll get your spine moving. It gets you into your breath. So remember those things we talked about in part 1. So you want to inhale through the nose, exhale here through the mouth. Keep that belly button pulled to spine. And then we're getting some of that segmental mobilization. So see if you can really make each part of your spine move here. So exhale round, push the floor away with your hands. Pull the belly button up. And then inhale to extend. And last one, find a spot halfway in between those two. So this should be your neutral spine. We talked about this in part 1 as well. If I had a stick and put it on your back, it would touch the back of your head, between your shoulder blades and your tail. So I don't want you here, you're too rounded, and I don't want you here, you're too arched. So you're right in between those two. Maintain that, don't let it move, and lift your right arm out in front of you. And then place it back down. Again, keep that spine position still and lift your left leg, or arm. I'm thinking ahead, can you tell? And then bring it back down. Okay, now you might know what's coming. Right arm lifts. If this is enough, stay here. If you feel stable, really pull the belly button up and straighten the left leg back behind you. Spinal balance. We're going to hold this. Reach the fingertips forward. Reach the toe tips backwards. And breathe. Good. And then place those back down. Nice job. Let's do it again. Pull the belly button up. Nice flat spine. Lift your left arm. And if that feels okay to you, you can lift your right leg. Point and reach. I'm pulling your fingers and your toes in opposite directions. Good. And then let's bring those back down. Nice job. If you need a little rest at any point, you can just take a child's pose. So let's come back up and find ourselves in some plank work. This is where the core really starts to get integrated and really work a little bit more. So hands under your shoulders. I want you to step your knees back. I want you to bring your knees together. And into plank on our knees, you're just going to shift your weight forward. You should have a teeny bend in your elbows, micro bend. Your ankles are not crossed. They're just next to each other. And you have a flat line in your back. So now that line goes from your head to your shoulder blades to your tail to your knees. So you're not here, okay, I don't want you dropping down, and you're not here. You're in one straight line. And if you need to, you can always bring your toes down. It's just a little harder on your knees, actually. So maybe put some padding under your knees if you need to. And if this bothers your wrists, you can always do any plank on your elbows, right here. Okay. So you can either stay there. Actually, let's all go ahead and shift your weight back. Just take a little break for your wrist. We're going to come back and do that again. So when you're ready, come back. You can either stay on your knees, or what I want you to try now is step one foot back, curl the toes underneath you, and then the other foot back. So now your legs are hip distance apart, and here is your full plank. Again, little micro bend in the elbows. Nice, long, straight spine. Really make sure you're not here, because if you're here, the abs don't want to work. You're trying to get away from the abs. Your body is. And if you're here, it's going to be way too much pressure on your low back. Again, the abs aren't working enough, so you're right in between. Good, and then we're going to take it back. This is called inverted V. Shoulders drop down, and then just come back into your plank. Very nice. And knees can come down, and you're going to lower all the way down onto your belly. So we're just going to do a little work here. You're gonna have hands underneath your shoulders. Zip your legs together, spine extension. Just inhale and lift your head, lift your chest, and exhale, lower down. You're not actually pushing into your hands. You almost want to feel like your hands are floating. So if you need to, you can just float them up or just gently rest them. And then I also want this coming from your mid-spine, not your neck. So it's not going to look like this. Your eyes just barely glance forward, and then you're really squeezing your shoulder blades together to lift. Good, let's do one more like that. And then we're going to go into what we call swimming. Bring your arms out in front of you. Your legs separate to hip distance apart. Pull your belly button up towards your spine. So lift it off the mat. Then when you're ready, lift your legs, your arms, your head, and your chest, and let's swim. Alternating, trying to keep the core pulled in. And let's inhale and exhale. Long inhale. Long exhale. Good. Pause. Lift everything a little higher. Lower back down. Nice job. Let's bring hands underneath your shoulders. Pull your belly in and just press back. Again, to a child's pose. And then go ahead and gently restack your spine to a seated position. So I promised you in part one we were going to work on some roll downs here. So you're going to scoot forward and have your knees straight just so you know where you are on your mat. And then let's bend your knees and bring the hands lightly behind your thighs. So I want you to start nice and tall. Take an inhale. Exhale and curl your tailbone underneath you. So what you want to feel like is that you had a dial on your hips and you're dialing your hips kind of under you. And you're just going to let your hands gently slide down. Inhale, pause. Exhale, stay rounded as you roll up and over the legs. And then you inhale, restack. So think of this as pelvic movement first and belly staying in and rolling back. Inhale, pause. Exhale, stay rounded, and it's just a hinge because you stay rounded and you're just hinging up over and restack. So if this is okay for you, stay here. If you want to progress it, bring the hands in front of you and do the same thing. Inhale, pause. Exhale, roll. Keep the shoulders down. So at any point you can keep the hands back behind the thighs. On this one, we're going to roll back and stay there. So you're going to roll back halfway. Stay here and let's pulse. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. It's just an inch of movement and it's controlled and the belly's in and the feet are relaxed. If you can't keep your feet down, just bring them a little closer in towards you. And let's do two more. Last one. Inhale, exhale, up over and restack. Good. Exhale, roll down. We're going to do one more thing here. I want you to inhale, left arm to the side, turn and look at it. Exhale, close the arms. Inhale, exhale. So here too, you could have the hands behind the legs and just twist your chest. So we're just getting the obliques working a little bit and the chest open. Keep the knees squeezing together. Open the chest. Good. Inhale, exhale, up and over, and restack. And then let's straighten the legs and roll down one vertebrae at a time. So roll, roll, really slow it down. This is where you're going to build ab strength. This eccentric portion, this slowing down is where you build ab strength. Inhale, exhale, we're going to roll back up. So if this doesn't happen for you, the rolling up, then just roll to your side and sit up. And then join us for the rolling down again, because I promise it will build strength and get easier, I promise. The other trick you can try is go ahead and grab a hand towel. So pause the video, go get a hand towel, come back. Now what you're gonna do is roll it up so it's like a little hot dog shape and take it and put it lengthwise across your mat like this, right where your low back is. Lay it down on the mat. So now when you roll down, it's gonna be right in that space across the low back. So you're going to feel it right here. When you roll back up, I promise it'll be easier. You're trying to roll up one vertebrae at a time, and it gives you something to press against. So those are the two tricks to get better at roll-ups. Try not to throw yourself up. Try not to just heave yourself up there. Really try to do it with control. So we're going to roll down so that the shoulder blades are just off the mat. Here comes the hard stuff. Bring the right leg to tabletop. Lift the left leg so that it's hovering, okay? So this might already be a lot of work for you, and if it's too much, then you can just lay down and do it. So what we're gonna do is exhale, switch, switch. The reason I wanna take you through this is because intermediate to advanced Pilates work has a lot of this isometric hold of the rectus abdominis. That means holding a crunch like this. And it can be a lot of work, so I want you to understand you can always come out of it and rest right here if you need to. Okay? And 4, 3, 2, 1. Tabletop, hands behind your head. Now, straighten the left leg again, but twist to your right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Here's your obliques. If you did part 1, you remember we did this right here. How about that? There's a pattern. So if you need to, just come back and do that. It all kind of flows together. Try not to rock on your pelvis, and I want you to lead from your shoulder, not your elbow. So don't try to get the elbow to touch, because I can get my elbow to touch without doing any ab work. I want you to get your shoulder up and over to touch. One more each side. Good job. Hug your knees in and come down. Keep your right knee, straighten your left leg out. And we're going to bring the right leg to tabletop, straighten the leg up, pull the belly button in, leg circles, cross the legs slightly across the midline, but don't let your hip lift. Exhale, lower it down, inhale over, back up. So you're drawing a circle in the air. Your modification here too, we went through it in part 1, is right here with the other leg bent, or smaller circles. So exhale, lower, inhale, lift. Last one, you don't want your hips to move or your back to move. Nothing moves but that leg. And keep the knee completely straight. So point the toes, lock your knee. Use the quad. That will keep this in the leg. Last one. Good. Bend the leg, straighten it out, other side. So we're going to pull the knee in. Tabletop, straighten it up, belly in. So always stabilize your core first. Then cross it slightly, down and up. And you'll see I check myself a lot. I kind of feel my hips to see what's going on, my abs, make sure nothing is moving. And don't get too caught up in the breathing. I just want you breathing. Go ahead and switch directions. Exhale down, inhale up. So if you're exhaling when I say inhale, that's okay. It'll come, but just make sure there's a pattern to it. Just make sure you're breathing. Relax your neck. Last one. Good, and hug that knee in. All right, both knees. Tuck your chin, just a little rocking. Again, you can just roll to your side and sit up. Otherwise, just a little rocking and rolling here. And come all the way up. Straighten the legs. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, this is your celebration. This is your forward fold, just a gentle forward fold. And restack your spine. Good job. Congratulations. Pilates for Beginners Part 2. You guys did awesome. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Let me know. You can always subscribe to our channel to get our videos as we post them. And I really hope that you stick with Pilates. Go through Part 1 and Part 2 as many times as you need to, and then you can start to do some of the other videos we have as you feel comfortable. And thanks again. Have an awesome day.